Children with dyslexia often face difficulties reading, and this difficulty becomes more pronounced with age. An example of the various difficulties as highlighted by the Mod Children Hospital is presented in Table 1 below, often misperceived as an intellectual deficiency. Table 1 shows that dyslexia is fundamentally a complex language problem arising from an inability to break down a word into the sounds for each syllable. As such, they are often not able to spell or recognize words correctly. The deficiency in dual processing should be recognized as a matter of processing language differently, not an intellectual deficiency. Difficulty translating language to thought would lead to problems in listening or reading, and difficulty translating thought to language would lead to problems in writing or speaking. Research from the National Institute of Health shows that dyslexia affects 5 to 10% of the US population. In Malaysia, where performance is very important to many parents, the problem may become more serious if there is no early intervention to help the child and parents deal with the child's problem. Multitasking has become difficult to many as it requires retrieval from memory and parallel processing of information. Therefore, we have decided to create a game. For example, Crack the Treasure Box. A treasure box is intriguing to many. Furthermore, cracking allows us to have fun and to teach young people logic and computer security concepts. With only 3 panels to look at, attention is focused and cognitive load more manageable. Hence, we hope to provide a good user experience to users by developing a human-machine player competitive game.
The aim of this research is to develop a game for cognitive training while enjoying the game. Furthermore, multitasking by competing with the board and cracking the code within a certain time limit may improve the child's dual processing ability as well as memory. Before we start our implementation of this project, we will start up with some steps of methodology. We planned our project with each member was given a specific task, and then we design implementation by coding of the program is done after several prototypes of UI or design, and the best was chosen for the best of UX for our target audience. Once everything is done, we begin to test our programs for some bugs, and the bugs were found and was fixed immediately. And lastly, we will release our program when everything is finalized, and we are open to any feedbacks from our user. Some of the software requirements we use to code this system, which is the operating system we use was the Windows 10, and then 2 software we use to code our system is the Visual Studio for the C# programming and Microsoft SQL Server to save our data.
We mainly focus on developing a system that helps address the need of people who have learning disability or memory problem. Different stakeholders or users have different interpretation and opinion of what a system should do. The user or stakeholder needs to communicate with the developer their needs, and at the same time, the developer needs to be able to anticipate their need and ask the correct question during the requirement gathering phase of the project in order to further understand the user and the problem that needs to be resolved. Requirement is a statement about an intended product that specifies what it should do and how it should be performed. As such, requirement display the product or software capabilities to meet the user needs and solve their problem. There are many different kinds of requirements. This includes functional requirement, data requirement, usability requirement, user requirement, and environment requirement. To gather user requirement for our system, there are several techniques, but in our system, we have chosen interview, focus group, and questionnaire as our data gathering techniques. We have chosen interview as a data gathering technique because interview allow us as a developer to achieve a deeper level of engagement when talking to the stakeholder or user. The interview is conducted with a focus group. A focus group is usually include a group of people up to 6 to 12 who will represent the project, end user, or customer. Focus group can be used to pinpoint user point of view and perception towards the concept of order system. Focus group allow the developer to save time by interviewing multiple user stakeholders at the same time as compared to an interview which is a one-to-one basis. Upon analyzing the result, a list of requirements is listed based on the feedback of the questionnaire. The first requirement is display usable information and give feedback to help the user in further interacting with the system. Second, ensure the system is easily accessible and navigated by any user. Third, have the ability to help improve user memory, especially useful for Alzheimer patients. Support different platforms, which include Windows, Linux, Mac OS, etc. Be easily understandable regarding of age group. Be enjoyable to all age group. Be visibly appealing without having any harsh colors such as red or purple, which may not be appealing for some users. Some act as a source of entertainment for all users. On the other hand, not contain any violent or illegal activity which may violate the rules and regulation. And lastly, provide a sense of accomplishment upon winning or completing the game.
And now I will explain how the system works. The main page of the game contains the play, instruction, and exit button. By clicking the play button, the main page will be closed and the player will enter into the game platform. By clicking the instruction button, the player will enter the instruction page where the player can understand how to play the game. The last button, which is the exit button, allows the player to quit the game application. The instruction page provides guides and instructions for the player to understand and how to play the game. When the game starts, players are required to guess a 3-digit numbers by pressing the number on the pad in the middle. For every 10 seconds, a chance will be deducted. If the player or computer enters the correct number, the game ends. If the player or computer enters a wrong number, the game continues and the previous numbers that both the computer and player input will be displayed on the both sides of the panels. On the right column of the panel displaying the player's choice of 3-digit history are feedbacks, hints on how many numbers are in correct sequence and how many in the wrong sequence. If neither the computer or player wins, the application will force the game back to the main page, letting the player choose to play again or not. In conclusion, the aim of this project is to create a game that has the potential to help people to improve the performance of their memory, logic, and search, and to create a great user experience for the users in a human-machine player game. We may develop a more interesting game that can make people feel happy, allowing users to play multiplayer online or specially design a game for children with external functions, or reducing the load memory of the children so that they could easily navigate numbers that have entered and lead them to easier.